You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Happy Monday! I hope.
It's Monday. Last I checked, yeah. Wow, what a week, huh? What a week.
Is it weird that I just don't feel anything anymore?
No. No.
When I see big news, I'm like, yeah, okay. I may as well, right?
Sure. If you're not an American, you're probably just shaking your head, just going, wow.
How it took this long.
Wow. And then if you are an American like us, I really don't know what to feel at this point, because we saw that debate.
Sure.
And then now there's this, he's got COVID.
Which, of course.
Our president has COVID.
Yeah.
And it took this long somehow.
I'm not surprised.
I really am not either.
Flaunted the whole thing and kept, I don't know.
And
it's a thing.
It's a real testament of how humanizing we can be, because don't like the man.
No.
But a part of me is just like, you know what? Don't wish him harm. And I don't want to.
I'm going to just plead the fifth on this whole conversation, because
it's really hard. It's really hard. Because I don't want to be that person, but at the same time, it kind of has it coming.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, we've discussed, you know how I feel.
Yeah, he kind of has it coming.
I kind of just went, all right. And that was it.
I mean, I wasn't really surprised all that much. Although I will say that I'm not sure how much I believe it, but I'll just leave it there.
I know. It's unfortunate that we're now bred to go, yeah, but I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah,
whether
I don't know.
True or not. Yeah.
I don't know.
But
it's
probably true. There are a lot of reports saying that it's true. Just from meetings throughout the week and being lethargic and this, that, or the other. So it probably is.
And plus, I did see a clip from, I don't remember what news source it was, but they were interviewing Chris Wallace, and apparently they're breaking down, because it's not just him. There have been a number of people testing positive.
Yeah.
And then
the White House is about to be just one big quarantine in a second.
Mm-hmm. And if you start looking at, because they're tracing it back to the Supreme Court nomination, which that's an entirely other conversation altogether, which I won't touch. The row of people together, they said you can just trace it. All these people were bundled together. Even one senator, Tom Tillis, who was actually wearing a mask, got it. And I'm not saying,
I mean, if other people weren't around him.
And that's what I was going to say. Don't take that as, well, see, masks don't work. Nah. We're just saying he was the only one. Other people weren't. They could have coughed all over him.
Right. The whole point of it is to protect others from yourself if you have it, and try to keep it low.
I mean,
it's not magic.
They could have done. There's so many variables in that, and I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, we won't
be safe, people.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into politics. Although I did want to bring up a few other little interesting tidbits. This might be a new segment that we just kind of come up with at the beginning.
Okay.
Where we just, if we happen to see things that aren't video game related, but just little snippets of something that you're just like, what? Huh? that just happened you just kind of want to bring up at the beginning? Because I just wanted to call this the fuck.
Right? I mean, why not?
Why not? Just two things that I happened to notice that I just wanted to talk about just because it seemed interesting to me. One, 2020 is just a mean old bastard.
It really is.
Because for whatever reason, we just got Rick Moranis back, and someone decided to assault him.
I actually didn't hear this news.
Yeah, this was caught on tape. Someone just came up behind him and punched him in the head in New York. Why? What has this man ever done to anyone? Ever?
But why would you just feel the need to walk up to any human being and just punch them in the back of the head?
I know. But Rick Moranis.
Right?
Rick Moranis. Just the nicest, sweetest man. And I was just so happy to see him back.
Right?
And then someone has to do this shit. Now, he's
Is
fine.
He okay?
He is fine.
Okay.
But, damn. I hope they find this guy and punch him in the back of the head.
Well, you said they had it on tape, right?
They did, but it's one of those kind of... He was hooded. He was hooded.
Probably with masks on makes it a little bit more difficult these days now, too.
Mm-hmm. So, but, damn it, man. Why? That's the other part of it. Why? What were you thinking? Were you mad because there weren't any more Honey, I Shrunk the Kid movies?
Was he taller than you expected? Like, what's up? What's up?
Yeah. What's up? I just, oh, goddamn.
Well, I hope he's okay and
he's
mends
fine.
well. And
And,
see, this is why I've taken a break from like social media and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, what's up, people? What's going on? Chill.
Even Ryan Reynolds came out and apologized for subjecting Rick Moranis to 2020 because they were in that commercial together.
Aww.
He's like, I never should have done this to you. I'm sorry. So,
for all we know, it could have been just something random, and the person who did it didn't even know it was Rick Moranis.
That was part of my thought process too. Like,
because if they were younger, they probably wouldn't, because he's been quote unquote retired for quite a while now, right?
It's been a while. I feel like he's been off the grid for at least 20 years now.
I was gonna say around that,
because I don't remember. I can't think of anything he's done since the 90s.
Right.
And you know, I don't know. I hate it. I hate it for him. I really do.
I hope you mend well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that people are jerks.
They are. The other thing that I read, and this is actually what kind of prompted me bringing this up, because when I read this headline, I was like, what?
You're like blipping in and out a lot with that background.
Am I?
You're like trippy.
I'm sorry.
You're like disappearing.
Can I change it?
Back.
I don't know if I want to like mess with it. I don't even know why it's there. I have this background, people. If you're on...
Sorry, we're on Skype, but I just could see like his hair will disappear and then come back, and the microphone will disappear and come back.
It's just weird.
Like, whoa, it's trippy.
Hopefully you don't have any kind of pre-existing conditions with, what do you call it? Oh, come on. That was a good joke, and my brain just shut it off. It was like, no, you can't say it, because I'm going to make you forget. Epilepsy. Jesus.
Oh, no.
Okay.
At least not to my knowledge.
Well, we're going to find out today.
Right? We will by the end of this.
Anyway, but yeah, this was a headline that I was having a hard time with, because I didn't know this was a thing in the science community, although I guess it shouldn't be surprising. Apparently a new theory claims that if you were to time travel, it wouldn't be as dangerous or as effective as you would think, as they show in the movies. Okay. So apparently, according to this theory, somehow they've concocted this, and again, it's a theory.
Yeah. I feel like we have to say these things because, like, I don't believe it's even possible. But sure, let's.
I mean, I would love to believe that something like this could be possible, but I also feel like that there are other ways about it that would make more sense, because think about this. This is where my idea of time travel comes in place, like the way my brain works. And this, I don't know if I believe this, even if I believe time travel was theoretically possible. But they are saying that if you were to go back and change some big event, so say, do the common thread thing that you were to go back and kill Hitler before he did all his terrible stuff.
Right.
Somehow, because you did that, the butterfly effect would essentially be that time is going to correct itself.
So it would be someone else that would have just done the same thing?
To a degree. So whatever you change, it's not going to fix itself in a way to create a paradox that would have prevented you from going back in time in the first place. Like, that was your main goal, and you said, well, I'm going to go stop Hitler. But then if you killed him, that never happened, therefore you wouldn't have had the reason to go back in the first place, thereby creating a time paradox. But, according to this theory, time would just correct itself to not allow that paradox to create itself.
Well, I'm glad to see we're looking into the tough questions these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. This is what's important right now.
But you know what? I almost don't blame them. Fill your head with tomfoolery.
Yeah.
I mean, we need a break.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to sit down and figure out these theories, you know what? More power to you. Have at it.
I mean, it's fascinating to me. I would love to know that something like this could maybe be possible, but at the same time, I know if we could, in fact, create a time machine, someone is going to get their hands on it and ruin everything.
And the wrong people, probably, because that's where my mind defaults.
It will always happen. But there was a very interesting, I don't know if you watch Rick and Morty.
Not really, no.
I've
tried. I'm that person that if he would just stop belching all the time,
I think,
and make me feel like I'm sick to my stomach, I would probably really love it, but it turns me off so bad.
I will say this, that the first season was very prevalent. After that, I noticed he's cut it down a lot more. In fact, I just watched all of season 4, which I hadn't got to see as it aired. So I just got like the set or whatever. And I honestly can only remember maybe 2 instances where that happened. And it was like brief. Like it was just 1 or 2 here.
Well, maybe I'll pick it up from there or something if you think I could follow along with if there's even some big overarching storyline.
There actually is, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
Like the way this season ended, I won't say anything to spoil for anybody, but it actually called back to an episode, I think 2 seasons prior. And my brain had to sit there and think, wait a minute, when did this? And then they played around. I don't know. It's a very good show, but I do understand because that was one of my main gripes early on. I was like, why? This is not funny.
Yeah,
why is he doing that?
It was too much. It kind of made me feel like pukey the whole time, and I didn't appreciate it.
But I think they've kind of taken that to heart a little bit, and we're just like, all right, we can do that. Because the whole banter can be funny without all that. That's what I never understood about why they're doing that, because all the banter they do now, oh my God, I was rolling so hard just because it's good banter. And especially when they're doing like these little jabs at things and pop culture references that you're aware of, you're just like, that's pretty good. You don't need all that crap that he does. Yeah. And again, I only remember 2 instances. There could have been more, but I don't remember them.
Okay.
So I just give it another shot if you can.
If you say season 4 is good, then that's where I will start.
Go to season 2.
Season 2?
Yeah.
All right.
Because there might be some tidbits that you might have to pick up on within there. But like I said, it tapers off. It gets better. I know season 3, I couldn't even tell you how many times. But I honestly feel like it wasn't as bad. It gets better.
Right.
So.
Okay.
But anyway, they touched on a time... well, shit, if I talk about that, then... all right, well, I'll narrow it down. They touched on this idea of time travel in a manner of speaking. Like, what if you could reset, like if you made a decision and it was like a video game. See, I'm getting it back to video games. That was the idea. It was like in a video game, you'd create a save spot and then you do something. And if it doesn't work out, you can reset and go back and then, do that moment over again a different way. And as it was playing out, I was just like, there's going to be consequences here. I just don't know what they are yet. And I'm just trying to figure it out. And when they reveal it, I was like, holy shit, I didn't expect that. But it was a very clever way to just kind of play around with the ideas. Like, so if you were to actually do that, how would that work? And then when Rick explained it, I was like, okay, then that's messed up, but cool.
Okay.
I get it. So I'll just say, I'll leave it there. So it's definitely
I'm just saying, now that I have a glimpse into what our future would have been, I don't know that I want to travel around anymore.
Yeah.
I think we need to just wait it out.
And especially if things can correct themselves, if you were to go back, if this theory is in fact true, what would be the correction?
Right? It's like, so we'd be just sitting here doing the same thing anyway. Yeah. So it felt like a lot of effort for no payoff.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to go back and try to stop COVID from happening, what would be the outcome to correct itself?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
COVID-18.
Don't know if I want to know.
Happened a year earlier. I have no idea.
It could be worse.
Right.
So, but hey, that's what kind of crossed my mind this week of just oddities. So,
just fill it up, man. Yeah. Just fill up the brain.
So what have you been playing?
So I feel like it's really, I just keep going back to Fallout Shelter for a little bit. I've, the last couple of weeks, I've actually been fairly busy. So the sitting down and playing video games has kind of taken a back seat. I feel like a really bad gamer right now. And I know there's that whole group of people who don't think I am anyway, and whatever,
Screw them.
You do you. But yeah, and then just a little bit more on Commute 'em Up, Overcrowd. So, but there was a couple of updates already too. So I haven't gone back. I just let Steam kind of update it. So maybe I'll be surprised later on at what was added. I saw some new, on Twitter, put new commuter types. So new people. So I kind of want to go back and see what tomfoolery they bring along, because they were always like quirky and it was kind of funny, the weird stuff that happened with them anyway, So I'm excited to see that. I did see a still shot though, where some people were like, I guess, walking around and sitting down with umbrellas and stuff and that. And I'm like, okay, I got to see how this ties into what it could just be a quirk for one of the people. Who knows,
Why
not? Traveling with like little suitcases and stuff, so I could only imagine what little chaos is going to bring out of that stuff, knowing how that game's been going so far. But yeah, I finally got 100 people in my Fallout Shelter.
All right.
So I can finally make the Nuka-Cola plant, whatever, my people come back with all the money that'll allow me to afford it. And I tell you what, though, I should feel bad, but since it's just a video game, I don't. Because, like, I've been leaving, like, the same 3 women in one of the living areas and just dropping one dude in there. And then they all 3, get pregnant. Then I put them back in the lab, and then they have babies. And then when I need more, I just drop them back in there. So these poor women.
Yeah.
But that guy, though, right?
Hey. I did.
He does. He likes them all, man. I know which one's his favorite because he always goes to her first.
I do like that they...
But I feel like half my shelter is just from these 3 women.
I do like, however, like if I'm not mistaken, when I was playing it, that you cannot... no inbreeding can happen. Like, the game is very aware who bred who.
I was worried about that. Yeah. Like, if I accidentally... Because, like, I don't remember who came from where, like... I'm not going to remember all their names, but...
Yeah, if you happen to see a male and a female not breeding in the room...
they're probably related.
It's like, we're probably related. It's cool.
Yeah, we shouldn't do this.
Let's not do that.
We're going to have other problems if this happens. Like, you're probably right.
But that's good. I mean, at least they put that in the algorithm. Don't inbreed.
That's actually good to know. I think that's why I tried to just keep track of which people that I always put in there, just to ensure in my own head that they weren't. But there's a lot of them that, siblings just running around. Like, I think he's had like 12 kids now.
All right.
So each of them's like, I guess, a 3 apiece.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she must be tore up by now.
She's got to be very sad.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of them. I just put 3 women in there and just like let it be, and then I'll drop them in and then go do the other stuff. And when I come back, they're all walking around sad, and then I just drop him back in the lab.
You're gonna see him walking around with rosaries and praying to Jesus.
I'm gonna come back and there's 10 less. Like, they just ran away. They're like, enough of this. I'm taking my chances out there. This is ridiculous. Like, that's fair. That's fair.
Wouldn't it be ironic you go check their last name and they're Irish, all of them?
Womp womp.
I'm kidding. Not really.
It's all in fun. But yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully this week I have a little bit more time to dive in. Although, and I know no one really cares, but I do. There was this guy on Twitter that I found. I think he just goes by Artie. Mm-hmm. I think I talked to you about the open world mod for The Sims 4.
Yeah.
It's coming out in beta here soon, and I watched the trailer for it, and it looks fun. Actually added new gameplay and stuff like that, so kind of excited to try that one out and see if it actually makes me want to play it again, because I've totally put that down and moved on to like 3 when I felt like playing now since I got it working.
Nice.
So I think he's doing way more work than EA deserves to make their game more fun, but I'm very thankful to him if it all works the way that it's being shown, and I'll have to, maybe I'll get to tell you all about that next week. I know you're all super excited.
Oh, yeah. Everyone is.
For me to tell you how exciting an open world and a life simulation game is. But hey, maybe there's like one of you out there that's like, hey, rock on. Yeah, that's cool.
And keep hoping.
What about you? What have you been playing?
Let's see. I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat 11 just because I'd picked it up and I was just like, I had some time to kill. Thought I'd do a few fights here and there. Nothing spectacular with that. I really don't know what more I can do with the game unless I want to be one of these competitors with the tournaments and all that. And I just don't want to do that. Just don't want to do that, I mean, it's cool to play around with them. I have been trying the friendships out a little bit since I didn't get to play around with those, and those are kind of neat. You just see what kind of weird tomfoolery they come up with, like RoboCop does the robot dance and stuff like that. And Spawn is like kicking back in a lounger or something like that, reading a book.
I would say, was it 10? Is their name Casey, the blonde?
Cassie. Mm-hmm.
Cassie, sorry. Is that the friendship where she took a selfie with the person she just killed?
No, that was her fatality.
Oh, that was the fatality? Okay, well, that one just, I don't know. It made me laugh.
Yeah, that was pretty
really
messed up.
Hard. It's like, oh my God.
But also finished Super Mario Odyssey. When I say finished, I beat the game, but there's way too many stars, moons, whatever the hell out there, and I had my patience tested. Okay, there were a few moments before beating the game prior where they put together a level, and I'm just like, man, I just don't know if this moon is worth it, but I'm gonna keep trying because I believe in myself and I can do this because I've done this before. I'm just a little rusty and I'll get there. And I finally got, some of these harder moons. And then I got one and I was just like, I'm not doing this. Because you're just taunting me at this point. You're trying to make it hard. Screw you, game. Because here's the level. I don't even remember where it was or whatever. So if you know what I'm talking about, good for you. They put you, there's a feature in the game where you can go into flat world, which is like the old 2D Mario. That's what it looks like. So everything is like that. So you go into a pipe, you go into the 2D world, and you just start running. Now, the background moves, okay, in these sections. When the background moves, it moves away from the 2D world and will make you go back into the 3D world. And if you do, you're going to fall down a pit. So you have to stay within the barrier of the 2D world. And I didn't realize that at first, and I was like, all right, I got it. So I was very aware. I was going through everything. They're shooting bullet bills at you, just like boom, 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 boom. So you got to just be quick and move and fast, and I was doing it real good. Then you get to the next section, and they've got the blocks spaced out ever so carefully to where if you just run, you got it. If you try to do something stupid like jump, you're going to die. So hauling ass was like, this classic Mario. I know what I'm doing. Get all the way up. And then they have that 1, 2, 3 blocks well spaced, so they have to be very timed jumps while everything's moving. I screwed up a few times there, but I finally got through it. And I was like, all right, I got it. And then we get to the last part.
Uh-oh.
Now things are moving circular. And
Ew.
my controls are also moving in a circular manner. So I'm sitting there
No.
trying to move, and I'm having trouble because my brain's like, no, this is not, what are you trying to, no, this is not 3D, this is 2D, this is flat. So I'm already having trouble there. Plus, they've got these little enemy balls. I don't even remember what the hell they're called, but they're swarming everything. Then you have to do this jump like Super Mario Galaxy, like little planets going from one to the other in this flat section. It was too much. It was chaos, and I was like, I can't do it. I got all this way, and then you threw this crap at me. I can't do it.
It's rude.
Yeah, it was way too much for my brain. And
I don't blame you there. I probably just set it down and like, nope, okay.
no, it wasn't.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it wasn't important to beat the game with. It's more at that point collection. Are you going to collect all the moons in all the areas? And there were some that we could probably go back and collect, like post-game stuff, but I'm just kind of like, I beat it.
I'm fine with this. Yeah.
I'm okay. It's fine.
That's how I would be.
And then I was also trying to figure out what game I wanted to play next on the PlayStation, because I've just been kind of like, I've got, when you've got games you haven't played yet and you're just not really sure what you're in the mood for.
Yep.
So I chose Life is Strange Before the Storm, since I got that some time ago and just had never started it, and figured this will be simple and easy and quick, and I can just kind of breeze through this and do that. I just got through chapter 1. Did you ever play this one?
I never played the second one. No, I played the first one.
This is the prequel to the first one. I'm almost positive that's because the more the story
might be right.
kind of played through, I was just like, okay, they're talking about the girl, Rachel Amber, like she's in the game.
Okay, then yeah.
So
I remember her being mentioned in the first one, but yeah.
Well, now I guess this is to fill in the gaps of what happened to her.
Okay.
In that regard, first chapter felt a little meandering. I'm not gonna, like, I wasn't fully into the whole thing. Like, I was just kind of sitting there at some points just going, well, this is a thing, isn't it? And that's about it.
I really liked the story of the first one, but I think what kept me from it, I think that just the characters were too young.
Yeah.
So it didn't connect as well with me, just, in that regard. But the story itself was great, but me and writing teenagers, it's very iffy whether I'm going to get into it or not. So I think when I heard that it was going to be younger yet, I'm like, well,
yeah,
I don't know.
And that might be where my disconnect is coming from, because there's just a lot of, like, I cannot relate to her completely, but
it's just a different generation. I'm not saying it's bad.
No.
It's not relatable to my life.
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah.
There was one point in the story that was kind of neat, just as almost like I don't think it was a necessary part of the plot. I think it was more like character building. Like if you wanted to meet some of the people around the school, you got to play like a little D&D match with two players that were sitting there, because it was like, hey, we're playing, D&D, and we got all these characters, and they explained it to the character, and it's like, you want to play? And she's like, I don't know. It's like, what else are you going to do before class? It's like, just 20 minutes of your time. It's like, all right, cool.
20 minutes.
Well, for that moment, yeah. And I'm curious, because after I got done with it, I was just like, man, I kind of want to go back and do it again, because I feel like I could have had a different outcome, but I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because certain decisions that I made, like there was one specific decision that I made, and I was like, damn it, I wonder if I had done the other thing, if that would have changed the course of the game, because that made more sense after the fact. So
I often wonder, because with those games normally, yes, you would think, but I feel like with that particular one, and again, not having played the prequel, I feel like the ending was going to be the same regardless, because of the way the story was written. Spoiler alert if you haven't played it for the first one, but just with how things ended up with her best friend.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was always going to happen with her. She was always going to be injured and have to work your way through that, because I feel like I did try through it twice and that was still the same outcome. The only difference was how long it took me to get whatever information if I got snarky instead, because it always made you rewind.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to be a decent person, even though it kind of felt out of character for her sometimes. Like, I think there was one instance that I was actually kind of a dick, and I didn't do it like out of hatred or anything like that. I thought it would be funny, and then the way the scene played out, I was like, oh, now I feel bad.
I'm really the jerk here.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'll still play through
But the
it.
stories usually were written very well.
It's-
I remember getting very emotional on the first one and everything. So
I think it's
not a knock to that.
Yeah, I think that's the issue I'm having with it, is I felt like they stretched out the run time of the story to kind of make it feel, padded, and that's where I felt like it was meandering. It's like, just come on.
Let's
The
move
the
along,
story
right?
that
Yeah.
we're telling here can move along a lot faster. We don't need all this extra stuff. And I probably could move it along too, not talking to certain people, but I feel like it's important because they're there. So, I don't know. My gameplay head and the way the story goes, I'm still going to play it. It's actually shorter than the others. I think it's only 3 chapters.
Oh.
So, I've already gotten through 1. 2 more is not going to kill me. And then I can just
Alright.
put it down if I want to. Whatever. Who knows?
You'll have gotten it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I hate when I can't be decisive on what I want to play next. Because I
feel like I've been in that little rut lately, and I've got plenty. I've got plenty to pull from. I guess the whole like sitting down, what am I super in the mood for, and getting into it is maybe I just need a minute.
Yeah. And I think on most cases I probably would get into anything that I start, but something in my head is just like, but you know how long this is going to take, right? And I'm just like,
Right.
yeah.
We're just getting old, I guess.
guess.
But no, I think I'll always want a game. But I do tend to want to go towards one that I think's probably going to be 1 or 2 sessions to beat. You know,
Yeah.
I think I'm to the point where I just don't want to start a game I don't think I'm actually ever going to finish.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, think about like this in 20, I got to do the math now. Say about 25, 30 years, hopefully. Wouldn't it be amazing, as long as we don't have like super bad arthritis, we could retire and that's all we do?
By then, we could probably like move it with our mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the arthritis won't be a problem. I'm already going to be holed up and need all sorts of assistance when I get older.
They could just hook you up.
Until we start replacing parts, just on the cheap.
You just be a permanent VR resident.
Pretty much.
That'd be amazing.
Meet me in the VR chat, people.
So let's move on to some news. This
What do
wasn't
we got this week?
This wasn't a very news-heavy week. I think I've got a few more quickets than I do headlines, but
Hey,
it's fine. I don't think we needed a super heavy week this week. It was already heavy enough.
Tend to agree.
Yeah. So the first story I have is about crunch, because hey, it's not something I've experienced outside of a bowl of cereal or a bag of chips.
Right.
I mean, there was this time that I worked about 10 hours a day, 7 days a week for an entire month at one job many, many years ago. That sucked.
Ew.
It felt like my days were blurring so bad that they invaded my dreams, where I could hear the factory working while I slept. Oh my God, I hated that so much.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the gaming industry, it's commonplace, it seems, anymore. So much so that when we heard the headline that CD Projekt Red has apparently implemented mandatory crunch for the release of Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know why I just wanted to go say 77. This is not a revelation.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. This is not a revelation. Even more so when you actually consider the fact the company took a very hard stance against it last year when accusations started to fly. But what is surprising, I'd say, to a point, is the fact that the studio head, Adam Badowski, that looks right, is admitting that he made the decision. He's taking full responsibility for it and any backlash that goes with it, citing no other options if they plan to release the game in November as promised. Now, is it worth it to you to have it by November?
For me personally,
Yeah.
No. Like, I can wait if you will just treat your employees well. They deserve time with their families. They deserve time off of work. I'm more in favor of the worker and letting them still have a work-life balance through all of this. I've got games to play.
Yeah.
I'd rather it not be at the sacrifice of someone's sanity.
There are plenty of games to play.
Plenty. And I'm okay if you move it to 2021 personally. Like, I know it's been moved a lot already. We can't foresee all of the, issues that came along with trying to do your job differently this year. Everyone's adjusted to it, working from home a lot, and probably that's got to make things a lot harder when you're not right next to someone in the office to be able to get help right away or this, that, or the other. Like, I understand all that. So don't mistreat your workers.
Furthermore,
I want them to still have a healthy work-life balance so that they're not out of their mind and hating what they do, because it's just taking up too much of their life.
Furthermore, take a note from the movie industry and how many movies that are complete that they just continue to move and move and move, because obviously they've got a lot of money tied up in those. Same as you, I understand. But people are going to want to pay for these movies. People want to see these movies. So just, trust that your audience is going to be there.
Yeah, there's going to be people who complain. Screw them.
Yes.
Let them complain. Let them find their own little threads to whine in and call it a day, honestly. Because, if you're so upset that you're not getting a video game at the expense of someone else's sanity or, their own even health, mental health, any of that.
Yeah. You're a garbage human being.
Just try to put yourself in those shoes. Oh, you have to work 14, 15, 16 hours a day till November. Like, come on.
Yeah.
No.
Your mental health is not my problem. I got a game I want to play.
Well, you're playing the game is not my problem. While you get to sit there and play a myriad of other games and all of that kind of stuff.
I can't wait to grow a penis and make it my own. Ooh.
All of them. I don't know.
Weirdos.
But no, personally, no. I will never think it's worth it for me to get a piece of entertainment like that. It's not something that's saving my life or important into it. And I would rather you treat your employees well. And yeah, no. I'm always going to be in the favor of the developers who have to put in these hours. I can wait.
Same here. The next story I've got, speaking of complaining, is Insomniac Games showcased a little bit of gameplay footage from Spider-Man Remastered for the PlayStation 5, and while we got to see various graphical improvements, one very noticeable change that has caused an uproar is that Peter Parker has been recast. Now, he originally featured the likeness of John Bubniak. The character model has now been swapped with actor Ben Jordan to, quote, get a better match to Yuri Lowenthal's facial capture. Obviously, this was jarring to the fans. A lot of people were saying that you've got people on one side saying, oh, no, he looks more age appropriate. And you got other people saying, all you're doing is trying to make him look more like Tom Holland. Ah! And
I remembered seeing this when I had to just Google it again so I could see the picture side by side again.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's that big of a difference.
I mean, you can tell.
You can tell.
But
sure.
Does it change anything about the game? No. It's just a face. And look, I get it, but
how many different Spider-Mans have we had in the movies over the years and everything?
Right?
Like, for crying.
and for that matter, are you telling me that you're emotionally invested to the face of a voice that's not even attached to it? That much that you're going to be angry that now there's a new face? Because, hell, they could have done this in the new game. They could have said, you know what? We're going to recast it. They could have already had this planned for future. So it would have been no different than recasting. And then they're just like, well, you know what? Just to kind of keep some sort of continuity, we're just going to replace the actor here in the remastered version so that when you see him again, it's going to be this guy. And be like, all right, see, it works. It connects. And I don't know. I don't either. The game.
We've just crossed into such a strange land where it's like we've all just turned into a bunch of petulant little children who just can't handle any kind of change.
No. It's just we have to bitch and complain about it all, and it doesn't change anything about the game. The game will still play the same. It'll look better on this other console,
right?
Whatever. And if you don't want to play it, guess what? You still got your PlayStation 4 version. It's not going anywhere. You still got it. So don't.
They're not going to steal it forever.
They're not making you buy this. They're not forcing you to buy this. Don't buy it. Just get the regular Miles Morales version. And there you go. You're not subjected to it.
And most of the people complaining, I would almost hazard a guess, probably already owns the game.
Yes, exactly. And think about... Oh, God.
I feel like we need like a segment now where it's just like you and I on a porch complaining about kids complaining about video games.
Kids these days.
You know, back in my day, it was all pixel art. I wouldn't have noticed if they changed the face anyway. You put it on a regular TV, it looks like garbage.
These kids today, they don't seem
I
to
only had
understand.
2 buttons.
Too much 3D animation's what it is.
How can you keep track? How can you? It's side to side.
Back in my day, levels were flat as paper.
And when you fell, you died.
And we liked it. We loved it.
Well, we didn't know any better.
That's right. But seriously, I mean, just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really... I can see the argument now. It's like, but I wanted to play the game on the PlayStation 5, and now I can't because it replaced an actor. How many times are you going to see that actor's face on screen?
Okay, well then, to be fair, if you never played the original one, it's not different to you.
Exactly.
Like, this is just the version you have.
Yeah. I don't know. Screw it. I'm getting angry.
I know, right? I think we just, we need people to have more activities.
Well, while we're on the mention of this game, they also said that this new version, and again, this is that thing that's, I gotta have this, but the actor. The game is set to have 3 new suits added to it.
Okay.
One being
is that good?
Well,
I'm scared. I don't know anymore. It's like
let's go back to the original year that the game came out and how pissy people were about some suits that came out, and they were just like,
it's coming back to me.
What?
It was like after the puddle incident, right?
Yeah, because they were just like, what? Because they had just released 3 suits. Okay, 3 suits, and it wasn't one that fans wanted.
Right.
But the problem is that they were holding that one suit as a gift.
Yeah, I remember now.
And then when people got all pissy, they're just like, you know what? We were saving this for a special occasion, but there, just take it. And they just walked away.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be a petulant child, there you go. And everybody's like, oh, thank you. It's like, no, you ruined it. Nope. You ruined it.
I would have charged them for it then. Like, you know what? This was going to be free.
Yeah.
Now it's $4.99.
I think it would have been fair. But I felt
probably just caused them more problems.
Probably. But I felt sorry for Insomniac at that point because it was like, God damn, people, just chill out.
Chill. Calm down.
Yeah. So one of the suits that they're going to add, they didn't specify all of them, but one that they did go ahead and announce up front, maybe just to curve that backlash.
Avoid it.
Just to get, so why didn't you put this suit in there? The Amazing Spider-Man suit from the 2012 film is going to be in there. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking forward to that,
there you go.
Boom, there you go. And I bet money, I'm just saying this now, they haven't really specified the suits we're going to see in Miles Morales. I know we've seen one they called the track suit, which is the white with the black whatever. But I would almost bet $10 we'll see a Spider-Verse Miles Morales suit in there, much in the same vein.
Oh, that would be good.
Because they did the Spider-Verse Spider-Man in the original game, so it should work out just the same. I bet money. I think that would be cool.
There we go. That would be fun. Yeah.
Quick hits. Well, piggybacking off of that, it was learned that on an official PlayStation website, or the official PlayStation website, however you want to spin it, that the PlayStation version, or PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man Miles Morales will use 52 gigabytes of space, whereas the PS5 version will only utilize 50.
Interesting.
Something tells me it's about the hardware. It'll come down to the hardware and what it can manage and so on and so forth.
Maybe what its memory just keeps going instead of having to be on the thing. Interesting.
Also, the game will support...
See?
Yes.
His face takes less gigabytes, people.
Boom. Also, the game will support save transfers between consoles, unlike the PS4, PS5 Spider-Man game. The Miles Morales one will. So if you happen to get the Miles Morales one on PS4, you can then roll it over to PlayStation 5. There you go. And see, you can't do that with faces swapping in the other game.
You can't.
That's why people calm down.
It's all that extra hair.
Retailers are reporting that they are having to cancel PlayStation 5 pre-orders due to taking more than their supply will allow.
Oh, come on.
That's greed right there. It's like, just take them, just take them. And then we'll deal with the repercussions later.
But you're not going to get that money anyway.
I know. That was just in getting overzealous. They dropped the ball as it was anyway. When it came...
It's starting to seem like retailers are the ones who really made this PS5 a little bit harder, with some of them trying to do it like the day before at 10 p.m. Certain places got it first because they didn't want to wait till when it was supposed to. But
they did that out of greed. Because they were just like, well, if we're the first ones to do it, then people will buy ours and we'll get all the money. But if you don't have it...
They were all going to sell out. If it was sold out of Best Buy, they were going to move to Target. If it was done with Target, they were going to move to Walmart. Like, all of you were going to get your money regardless of who did it first.
Yeah. And this happens every console cycle that we've seen. They sell out. They sell out until everyone has one. And then finally, it's like, okay, well, we might have one in the back. And that's when you know that it's kind of tapered off, that everybody has one now.
Right.
So...
This is why I always just wait.
Yeah, it's best.
I don't participate.
I mean, trust me, I would like to have one because, you know, it's the new shiny toy, but I'm not going to...
I can wait a year, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to stress out over it. I'm not going to kill myself trying to hunt one down. I tried with the PlayStation 4. It took me a while before I got there because I was like, you know what? I'll get there. I'll get there eventually, but right now, I'm going to focus here.
And I'll tell you, when it was time for us to get the PlayStation 4, I walked straight into the store, got it, and left. There was no hassle because the hype had died down. I didn't pay some astronomical price on eBay for it.
I do like how I got my PlayStation 4 Pro, and the VR. I don't know. I probably mentioned this years ago on the show, or maybe not. I don't know what we were doing at that time. Anyway, no, I already had a PlayStation, but I wanted to get a PlayStation 4 Pro, just to kind of have two, one in the bedroom, one in the front room, but also wanted to get a PlayStation VR. Add all these games, add all this stuff, and I was just like, I'm not playing it. It's just collecting dust. It was a hard pill to swallow at the time to give it all up. And then I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna finally do it. I'm gonna get rid of my games that I never play. I'm gonna get rid of all the stuff I don't use. I'm just gonna take it down to GameStop and we'll see what happens. So with all the stuff that I traded in, I didn't trade it all in, by the way. I still have bags of games that I just couldn't unload because it was like, we can't take those because whatever.
Yeah, nobody's getting them anyway.
Yeah. But I essentially paid $100 for a PlayStation 4 Pro and a VR headset and games.
Deal.
Yeah. Everything else was trade in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm cool with that. I unloaded some garbage and got a little something out of it.
There you go.
So it was a deal for me.
Right.
Where are we? Oh yeah. There's a remastered Mass Effect collection apparently releasing at some point.
Yeah.
It's going to have all the DLC and whatnot being reported.
Maybe it's a good time for me to go back and actually try it out.
I have never played Mass Effect, not a one.
I haven't either.
So,
But I've heard they're amazing stories.
except for that last one.
So I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, well, I mean, I heard like the first couple are where it's at anyway.
So, the next, this caused some controversy. Well, depends on who you are.
I feel like that's all news, isn't it?
It is. Jesus Christ. People can't just be
People
happy
mad
with
about
shit. The next Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Fighter is, do you know?
I actually don't.
Minecraft Steve.
I don't even know who that is.
If you see Minecraft, he's the Minecraft guy.
Oh, I didn't realize there was like a guy. I thought you made your own characters in Minecraft,
Well,
but okay.
Apparently there is a guy, and he's the guy.
Okay.
And apparently there are other Minecraft characters, a zombie and some other Alex, I think it was. I'm trying to remember from the trailer that I watched. I don't know these characters. I've never played Minecraft. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, because I don't. Yeah, this isn't.
But yeah, Minecraft Steve is coming to the game, available on October 13th.
Beautiful.
And also, and this is kind of playing off of a Truth or Trash we had recently.
Okay.
No More Heroes protagonist Travis Touchdown will be added to Smash Brothers. However, as a Mii costume, not the actual character. So you can look like him.
Because I think I said true, right?
Yeah.
Or is that
Yeah,
the
you
one
did.
I said false on? I don't
So
remember.
that's probably where that rumor came from.
Okay.
So you
Well,
can look
alright.
like him. He's just not him. Just sad, really.
So it's just a skin.
Well, it's
something,
you
yeah.
dress your me up to look like him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So-
The little your character and on the console.
Right. Hey, Sony accidentally made Bloodborne free to own for a brief period. Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. Sony.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about, but they scrambled to end that real quick.
I hope the people, I guess, who got it, they got to keep it.
As far as I know, I haven't heard anything
Okay.
to the contrary.
Well, congratulations to those who nabbed it up then, I guess.
Whoever was looking for it at the time, for that matter, because
There's always people that notice this
I know,
stuff,
right?
man. Like,
weird. Best known for the game Abzu. Have you ever heard of Abzu? I feel like I
I feel
have,
like
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Indie dev Giant Squid, their next title, known as The Pathless, will be a PlayStation 5 launch title. So good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Xbox announced a new 280-page book chronicling the 20-year history of Double Fine, called 20 Double Fine Years. Get it?
Womp, womp. A book, huh?
Yeah. It will feature and discuss titles such as Broken Age, Costume Quest, Brutal Legend, and of course, Psychonauts. And it will be available in 2 editions, Standard and Legend, for release in 2021. Pre-order now.
Okay. Look at this, kiddos. Books.
Books. Who reads anymore, right?
I was just gonna say, like, what? That's daring of them to throw that out there.
I mean, Double Fine, they're one of those companies that I do keep my eye on anytime they do something new, because I like their stuff. It's always quirky
Yeah.
and fun and unique kind of stuff. Broken Age, I remember that being kind of oddball, kind of crazy.
I don't think I played it, but I remember seeing it.
I feel like, if
enough,
I'm not
but yeah.
mistaken, I'm almost positive the voice of the main character in Broken Age was Elijah Wood. I'm almost positive of that, if I'm not mistaken. Because it caught me off guard when I heard his voice. I was like, holy crap, that's Elijah Wood. That's awesome. And then, of course, Psychonauts. That game I loved and hated at the same time. And I think it was just because it was an outdated mess of a game. PlayStation 2, 3D, you know.
It says Elijah Wood as Shay and Broken
Yeah.
Age.
So it's all, and Brutal Legend, is that that Jack Black movie game?
It's a game, yeah.
Where he's like a rocker or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I still never finished that. I started it and then just never.
I haven't either.
It seemed like it would
I
be
have it
cool,
though. I think it came in a Humble Bundle or something, so I have it on PC.
It's been reported that Sega is bringing back Virtua Fighter.
Oh, all right.
Because why not? Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Silent Hill 4 was re-released on GOG.
I missed that one, but all right.
Have you noticed that Konami seems pretty focused on that platform here lately? Because they did that Castlevania and the Contras and the thing.
I'm all about it, though. If you're going to give us DRM-free games, beautiful.
Yeah, why not?
Beautiful.
Hey, do you remember Farmville?
I do.
Well, shutting
Sort of.
down.
It was still
It was still around,
even?
but it's not going to be
All
after the
right.
end of the year. It's done. It's over. It's no more Farmville
right.
for you.
Aw.
Yeah,
Wasn't that like a Facebook game?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even realize they were still doing Facebook games, but here we are.
I had no clue. Yeah. So sorry, I guess. I hope you don't have really big farms. I don't know what to say about my condolences.
And two big things coming out of Capcom. Netflix released a trailer for a new animated Resident Evil film called Infinite Darkness.
Oh, yeah?
I'm assuming it's a movie because them doing a series in that regard, because this was a very highly CG heavy, like the other movies
Yeah.
they did, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But this is just another one, and it's coming to Netflix at some point, I guess. Called Infinite
right.
Darkness.
All the content.
I think I saw, again, the models they use from games to film, they vary. So sometimes I'm a little questionable about who I'm seeing. I'm pretty sure it was Jill and...
Okay.
Was it Jill? No, who's the other one? I don't know.
Veronica?
Chris's sister. The girl from...
Names are
I
hard.
know. She's the two that were the protagonists in Resident Evil 2. Claire. Isn't it Claire Redfield?
Alexia?
Claire and Leon.
We're the worst.
I'm gonna bet on it. Claire and Leon.
Claire does sound right.
Yeah, Claire and Leon. I
There
think
was a
is
Claire.
who I saw in the trailer. I'm not sure what the plot is.
Yes, Claire grew up with her older brother Chris after their parents died. Here we go.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
So that's who I'm pretty sure I saw in the game or in the trailer. God.
We're all messed up
Yeah.
now.
So what's it about? I have no idea, because it was just like, hey, you see things? Spooky. And then they show you the title and you're like, I don't know what's going on. So
they're just banking on the name probably here to draw you
pretty
in.
much.
All right, fair enough.
And last week we mentioned a delay in this project, and now just out of the blue, there had to have been something going on that I was unaware of, but out of the blue last night I stumbled across, on IGN no less, so this is legit,
Okay.
a very surprising 16-second trailer for Monster Hunter. And it stated that the film would be out in December, even though I'm pretty sure we said it was going to be delayed till 2021.
That's what I thought
But-
too. But to be fair, I've completely forgotten about it.
But
Until you mentioned it last week or the week before, whenever we were talking about it.
But this could also be for a different market. Now we're saying here
Oh.
it could be
That's
wherever
true.
this, because this, like I said, this came out of nowhere. But I will say this. When you see what it is, because you see the soldiers and their guns and everything, you're just like, this is not Monster Hunter. I hate all of this. I hate all of this human thing.
Yeah.
But then when they showed the Diablos come up from the ground and do its screech, and I was like, this is going to be the only redeeming quality of this movie are the monsters and how accurate they're going to be, because it looked like a Diablos. It sounded like a Diablos, which I think that was one of my biggest concerns, that they would try to just tweak it and be like, it doesn't matter what it sounds like. No, it matters.
Right.
The sounds matter.
Yeah.
And he has a very distinct sound. That's what I want to hear. And he came out of the ground.
Really assault the ears.
I want to like this movie because I want to see the monsters done justice. But when I see people with guns,
Yeah.
it's not Monster Hunter, man.
Yeah. I'm not as vested in it. Like, I liked the new one just fine, but I haven't followed it for a really long time. But
It irks me so much.
yeah. Yeah.
Speaking,
I think we've discussed that. Like, you had so many things that you could pull from to make it
So
really cool.
many.
Why did you have to put it in our real world? Like,
right. You could,
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that maybe they thought the budget would just, well, if we do it in real life, then the budget can be cut. Yeah, but where's the fun in that?
though?
Where's the fun in that? Because, see, now they don't have to go to a village, which they might. I don't know.
Hello, green screen.
Right?
I feel like that's all we do anymore is put actors in front of green screens.
Yeah. I mean, the story could have been so much
You could have gone anywhere.
deeper, but I guess we need to have a connection to the people because fantasy is just too weird. I hate it.
If I wanted to connect with real people, I'd actually leave the house.
While I'm thinking about it, because I'm going to bring this up real quick, and this might actually be something, since you've been sharing these nice little videos with me about just some oddities, because I'm sure we have mentioned Ryan George on this show before.
Yes,
I'm almost positive. What would you call his?
Probably the pitch meetings,
meetings.
that he does, on Screen Rant.
Go check those out if you haven't. But I'm going to suggest some things to you. Now, I think you could appreciate these for what they are. Having a little bit of knowledge about them probably adds a little bit of something, but I still feel like you could look at it and still get a kick out of it. There are these animations that I've found on a channel called NCH Productions. I hope I've got that right. I haven't flipped it, but I'm pretty sure it's NCH Productions. They do little animated shorts pointing out certain things in Monster Hunter and Pokemon, and it's some of the absurdities that as a hunter you do something and then they just kind of animate it in a very extreme way, but if you're familiar with it, like yeah, but it's done in such a way that it's really humorous. They did these two things with Pokemon, which again I feel like you can understand and get without having to have any knowledge.
I know enough about it.
Because what it is it's explaining or showcasing a move that a Pokemon has, but in a very literal sense. So, for example, and I won't spoil very many, but when you read it, you have an idea of what it would be. So you're like, aha, that's what that'll be. So Pokemon has a move called Water Beam. And what would be your thought? You're just like, okay, a water beam, so maybe like a stream of water, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they show the Pokemon standing together, Water Beam. The Pokemon that has this move spits out a large steel-like beam made of water, like you would build a building with.
Okay.
But it's water, but it's shaped like a steel beam. And then it lands on the other Pokemon. There's Water Beam. Get it?
Sure. But now is he knocked out or just wet?
No, he's knocked out.
Oh, okay. Like, does it splash when it?
No. So it's just taking those literal things about how that would work.
Oh, that's great.
Just,
I'd
pretty
probably
funny.
really love it because that's kind of the thing that always kills me about the pitch meetings is just like really going in on that literal thing. Like, how did this happen? I don't know. You know, it's like because we
Fair
have to
enough.
make the movie. You know,
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, that's hilarious.
So yeah, I'll send a few over your way so you can check them out.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because it's pretty fun stuff. And I feel like there was another one, but my brain is not working enough. So maybe next week I'll remember that one.
We'll get it our collected.
Yeah. Truth or trash?
Ooh.
I've got two.
What we got?
All right. So last week, rumors were pointing to DLC for Mortal Kombat 11 featured with the movie. You know, movie characters and skins and whatnot. But now, we have an official leak saying that the next combat characters will be Melina, who has been constantly shot down by Ed Boon
Okay.
on Twitter so much. Anyway, Melina, Rain,
Okay.
and Rambo.
Oh, for crying out loud. I mean, why not? Sure. We had RoboCop. We've had Terminator. Why not?
Why
sure,
not?
True.
Why
Yeah.
not?
It's might as well.
Now, here's my question. If this is legit, because these leaks have kind of been...
It's probably not going to be Stallone.
But it could be Stallone with another actor doing his voice.
Oh, like
Just
so his
like
likeness.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that was my thought. I don't think
Because-
they'll get him to voice it.
Look, the model looks great for
Okay.
the Terminator. Looks great. It's fantastic. But it kills me when he speaks. I would rather him be a mute. Because when he's like, you are going to be terminated.
The budget Arnold.
That is about as good as it gets. I don't do a very good impression, and neither does the guy doing the voice. It's horrible. I just would rather him keep his mouth shut. I would rather see its face ripped off and just be a robot going, that's it. I don't want to hear it speak. Shut up.
Or I feel like couldn't they have bought the rights to like a handful of his lines from the movie and just used it even? I don't know how expensive these things are or what movie companies are going to want or whatever, but
I mean, I know I've voiced my complaints about this so many times, but I honestly want to know, was it a money thing? Or was he just like, you can have my face, but I just don't feel like doing a voice? Or whatever it is. What else are you doing, dude? What else are you doing?
Wow.
I mean, my God, it's so disjointing when you see that face and then you hear, you are going to be terminated.
I feel like it always has to be a money thing anymore.
It's horrible. Why even...
Or the devs on Mortal Kombat just didn't want to pay what he was asking for or couldn't afford it in the budget. Or, I mean, I'm totally just spitballing here. I have no...
But look at it like
to
this.
back it up.
Look at it like this. If you can't get the whole package, then just don't do it. Maybe that
true
was...
too.
I mean, hell, maybe that's the issue with the Ash Williams thing that we thought we were going to get. And maybe they had it all set up and it was just like, yeah, Bruce doesn't want to do it, which is really weird.
I really don't. I don't know the man personally. It all could be his shtick, his public persona and everything. I just really don't see that. I mean, he did a freaking commercial for Dead by Daylight.
I know. I trust me.
I really feel like Bruce would have done it.
I don't know what the deal is there, but I feel like it was something that was going to happen. I don't feel like this came out of left field for nothing. I feel like this was something that was
unless it was something to do with the rights to Ash itself or something, you know.
And that could have been the case. So who knows what it is, but I feel like that was a package deal. You don't do Ash without Bruce.
Nope.
You don't do the Terminator without Arnold. You don't do Rambo without Sylvester Stallone. If you can't do these characters right, then just don't do them.
Yeah.
Give me somebody else. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I mean, even when they did Freddy, they didn't get Robert Englund, but they patterned it off the new Freddy, and they got a voice. I'm pretty sure they lifted it from the movies for all I know. I don't know. But it wasn't jarring to me because I guess I didn't have a connection to that Freddy. It was just like, meh. And then you use characters like Predator, Alien, Jason. They don't speak.
Right.
Get
Beautiful.
Michael Myers, for Christ's sake. He
Right.
doesn't speak either. He'll just sit there and stare at you. We got another mute. Perfect. Just get the face right, and then we're good. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either. It's just, oh, God. So we'll see if we get another half.
Or maybe we're just too old for it nowadays. These kids don't know.
These kids don't know.
They don't know.
Hell, they could have used if it was they could have used the new Terminator.
That's true.
There were other Terminators. He's not the only one. Hell, they could have got that girl from the Serenity, Firefly, or whatever, Summer Glau. She was in that TV show. That's a Terminator. What?
There you go.
There you go.
Right?
And it would have been a woman. Damn it, we got
Maybe
too many
that's
men
why
in
they
these
did
games.
it.
Probably. What is she doing? I don't know. Anyway, so true.
Sure, I'm just gonna say true, but I don't think it'll be Stallone's voice. I'm gonna say yes. That
To the
Rambo will be in there.
I feel like the Molina thing is why.
Oh, I totally forgot we had more. We derailed ourselves, but sure to all of it. Why not?
The only reason I'm saying no is because of the Molina thing. I feel like if I was Ed Boon and people, he's been hounded on Twitter for this. It's like, where's Melina? Where's Melina? Where's Melina? I feel like if you give it to him now, you're caving. I feel like he's had a hard stance to say, you know what, people? I don't want to put this character in this game. Screw you. And just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You do it now, you're caving to their
Well, I'll
bullying.
still say truth to Rambo.
Okay. Fair enough.
You know more about it. I don't follow it as closely with Mortal Kombat. So if Ed Boon said no to Molina, hold to it, man.
Yeah. Hold your ground.
Don't let him. I honestly feel like if I was a big time anything, I just wouldn't have a social media account. So I just didn't have to listen to y'all.
Yeah. I don't, he's got thicker skin than I do because, God, these people.
I just wouldn't read the comments.
Every time he says something, it's just like the first comment, Melina is coming to combat. Yep. Or it's like, when are you going to add Melina, fucker? Whatever. Next, truth or trash.
I'm having a blast today. This is very all over the place.
This is a big one.
Oh.
Sony will soon announce its acquisition of WB Games.
That would be smart.
Then they'd have Mortal Kombat all to themselves.
Mm-hmm. And the new Batmans, right?
And Batman. And Lord of the Rings, if they wanted to do another one of those.
It's true.
And Harry Potter.
I love having Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. We could have Batman, Spider-Man crossover games.
Oh, this is a tough one because I'm trying to think, like, have they not been doing well? I know it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but...
Well, there was a moment in time where they looked to be unloading Warner Brothers games, WB games, but there was something said recently that they were kind of pulling that offer back off the table. I don't know what changed, but that could also be... There could be more reasons to that.
That's true. Ooh, this is a tough one because I could easily be swayed either direction.
I mean, Bethesda was a big get. This would be a big get.
That's my thought process. If this is kind of their way to stay in the game and keep exclusives as well, because Sony's always loved to do the exclusives game.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time we've really seen Microsoft step up and really try to go after that. And we're still not even 100% on where they land with exclusives.
Right.
Still. I'm going to say true.
Okay.
It makes complete sense that Sony would do such a thing. And if the price is right.
I'm sure they got $7.4 billion laying around somewhere.
Maybe. I don't know. What is money anymore? Like, once you start getting into the billions, I'm like, that's just money my brain can't even comprehend. Mm-hmm. So Sure. Why not?
Okay, well, let's get into our topic this week.
Yes.
Because we're continuing our journey into the music of Mega Man. We're in Mega Man 4 territory, and this is where the series starts to go downhill for me.
I'm still loving 2.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
All of them. I'm still loving 2.
It's a classic.
They did really well on that one.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mega Man 4 falls into a category of games within a series that I don't really have a connection to. The reason for this maybe be a lack of familiarity, since it was one of the few games in the series I didn't actually own growing up, so I didn't play it as much. Mm-hmm. Also, I feel that something about it didn't hook me like the others did. I don't know what specifically. This game actually introduced very big points in the game that were actually carryovers into other titles. The Mega Buster, which is where you're actually able to charge up your shot. That's a staple now in Mega Man games. It was introduced here. There was even a new character, Eddie. Who's Eddie in this? I don't know. See, His name is Flip Top. He's the only one character that just doesn't add up to the... Because I was talking about the musical things, right?
Uh-huh.
And they just call him Eddie, and I'm like, but why? How is that a musical thing?
Why not? I don't know.
Maybe there's something else there that I don't know about. Maybe I missed something.
Maybe we don't know the underlying meaning of Eddie or something from back in the day.
Now, what's interesting about this is from a narrative standpoint, this game does seem to be doing something slightly different than other games, because when you're introduced to it, Dr. Wily isn't your main villain. You're like, oh, we got a new villain? A new doctor? Someone else doing different things? Because we're supposed to believe that Dr. Wily is dead. Well, we're not stupid.
Right.
But obviously, it was trying to do something different. You're watching it or playing it and be like, oh, cool, it's whole new ball game, you think, until you get blindsided. Anyway, when you dig deep into the game, a lot of things didn't really change. Like I said, the Mega Buster and whatnot, maybe a few little things here and there. It played it safe. It's just yet another entry in the Mega Man franchise with little things here and there. But beyond that, I've played this game before.
Yeah.
You know, just new characters and new levels and whatnot. So on the same token, the score composed by Mine Fuji. I'm going to stand by that.
I just commit, man. Yeah.
I kind of feel like it feels incredibly bland compared to the last two entries. This is also incredibly surprising that when you learn that she frequently collaborated with one of Mega Man 3's composers, Yasuaki Fujita. Probably nailed that too. But perhaps it's not due to a lack of talent, but more of a lack of direction. Tried and true, playing it safe. It's a recipe for boredom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's evident from the title screen music. Which I didn't send you, but it's not anything mind-blowing. It's just like, oh, it could have been in any game.
Just something to take up space while you selected.
Yeah, it's nothing about it is inherently Mega Man. And that's one thing that you could probably say is the first three games, there's something about them.
This definitely felt like generic side-scroller music.
Right. The other tunes, when you hear them, and you equate Mega Man to them. These, not so much. I honestly feel like a lot of these tracks don't connect. Like, they could have been in any other game, and you wouldn't have been like, man, that sounds like a Mega Man tune.
Sure.
You know, not all of them, mind you. I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm just saying that a good majority of them just don't have a hook to Mega Man. They don't feel like they mesh within the universe in which they're supposed to be in. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I was trying to find within this music to see if there was some sort of running element, running theme, kind of like what we saw in the last one. We said blues kind of had an underlying current to it. I'm not really sure what part 2 did. I mean, I guess rock, if you were to say.
I would probably lean more that way.
Yeah. So I was trying to think if there was meant to be a musical influence here, maybe Russian influenced music. Mainly because the main character is supposed to be Russian. And maybe that's why I feel like there's a disconnect. Maybe we are not familiar with it, so it just doesn't
Western audience, it's just not a style we're used to hearing.
Exactly.
Implemented. Yeah.
So I don't know if that is the case or not. Because I have nothing to compare it to and say, oh yeah, that's like this, or oh, that's kind of similar to that. And oh, you can hear the themes or the influence there. I don't know. Maybe we can check with our friend Constantine, you know, the guy that created Star Story. Maybe he knows. So there are a few good tracks, but I honestly cannot say that there's a lot. In fact, if I was to say, there's really only one to me personally, and that's my number one, which we'll get to, that I felt like was it, but the rest of them, I just feel like they all belong somewhere else.
Maybe we'll keep our fingers crossed. We at least have the same number one this week.
So I'm gonna get my my list here or my numbers, because I'm very curious to see where we kind of wound up. Because like you said, this was really
it was kind of hard. Like I feel like my first three, all right. Like I felt pretty confident in it, but like the rest of them, I don't know that it would have mattered in what order I put it in.
All right. Well,
Maybe I'm setting up too much before we get started, but
now,
yeah,
because it's. Well, all right, let's just get into it.
Dive in before we.
My number 8 was Bright Man.
Okay.
Because this tune does nothing for me. It's not a toe tapper, not a head nodder. It's just a thing. It does for what it is. It doesn't convey any sense of tech that I felt. It just was. This level needs a tune. Here, I've got this in my back pocket. Just throw it on there. It doesn't matter. No one cares. And they just slapped it on there. It was the least interesting out of all of them to me. I just could not get behind this tune at all.
That's fair.
Where does it fall for you?
I actually threw it at number 4.
Okay.
It just felt like, to me, it did feel bright. You know, although for the lulz, I really was hoping he'd be like Bright Peg. Would have just been fun for me, but like I got the sense of it needed to be open air, or maybe like the levels should be kind of flashy, sure. Like I would get the sense in a little bit in the center there where I would think they were trying to give me the idea of flashing or a brightness happening, blinking. So he wasn't a light Bright Peg.
Okay.
Much to my sadness, of course, but when I looked at him though, he just looked like he was constantly having an idea. So with the flashy and everything, I was like, I assumed those were supposed to be fluorescent light bulbs, you know, that he's hopping around on, and I was like, fine, sure. It felt like a bright, upbeat song. So sure. It fit, I guess, what I was looking at.
Okay, fair enough. At least this wasn't like a complete flip-flop from
like
1 to
my
8.
number 1. I loved it. Yeah.
So this is the halfway point at most.
Right.
So it's fine. Yeah, it's just he's a light bulb for a head or whatever. My number 7 would be Drill Man. Nothing about it stands out. Again, there's a sliver of the tune that kind of implies a downward motion where it just kind of goes doo, 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 doo. More of that, and maybe you would have hit the drill on the head. But again, nothing special to me. It had hints of something. Like it could have been so much more than it was, but it was just it's a thing. It has one little hook that's okay, but beyond that, I don't care. I could do without it.
I agree 100%. Drill Man landed at my number 7 as well.
Boom.
Let's see. I mean, it was a fun song, and like I could get the sense of I guess where they were trying to make me feel like spinning, or you know how you said drilling. A little funkiness to it. Maybe a little in the middle there. You know, almost like I felt it would be saving a princess from a castle almost kind of tune. Maybe, you know. Although to be honest, I felt a lot of different vibes from this one, so that's why it landed pretty low. Like it seemed like it was struggling to find a specific tune, so it threw a bunch of tunes in. So I liked it, but I don't really know where I was trying to go or what I was expecting. But looking at it, the red, the colors, the everything seemed to not fit as well. But without context of what his character actually does or originates from or anything, that could be the connection I'm missing. But since you and I agree on this one, maybe I'm not missing anything at all. So the whistle could have been, you know, like the drill sound, I guess. The little whistle thing that'll happen every minute and a half or so throughout the song.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. See? Our number 7's almost always a line. That's amazing.
Starting again. Like our meh ones.
Yeah. It's always like either the ass end in the beginning, but our 7s have always been like right near each other. Almost perfect. Okay. My number 6.
There's a little bug in front of my face. Sorry.
Oop, got him.
I hope.
Did you?
No.
Oh.
Or at least it's not on my hand if I did.
Damn. My number 6 would be Dust Man. Now, this one does start off differently than anything we've heard before. It does have something very unique, kind of like a desperate wavy sound, which is unique. But I feel once it gets beyond that, it just kind of devolves into something that's not really worth noting, which is sad because you started off strong, and then you just kind of went, all right, that's as good as we're going to do here. We'll just go with whatever and go. Because it just doesn't... I mean, I guess there's some sort of bleakness to it, which could work for the level a little bit, but again, that hook at the beginning is where they nailed it. And then it just kind of fizzled out.
I can agree.
I hear a cat. Do you hear a cat? I think I have a cat outside my door.
Oof.
Trying to get in.
Hear a thump.
I hear one. Anyway, where does Dustman fall for you?
Dustman was my 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I got dust vibes from it. The crackling noise to make it sound like I guess we were trudging through a desert, if that's a windy desert, if that's what it was trying to do. But it was like very fast-paced, heroic, almost like Endgame, I guess, in certain parts. Endgame music. Or End Boss, like when it would change in the middle there, where you're going for the next form or the next part of their life form or whatever. I don't know, but looking at the pic, I was surprised at just how green it was. I wasn't getting like a green, lush feeling from it, and maybe I let the name make me think Dust Bowl, something that even though dust could be any kind of dust, you know, we have dust in our homes, you know, that it happens. But is it a CRT monitor on his head?
I think it's supposed to be like a vacuum, like sucks stuff in and spits it out kind of thing. So he's like got a big vacuum head.
All right.
Kind of.
Well, yeah, it didn't land with me at all. That was my number 8.
That's fine. I mean, it wasn't too far off.
Right?
Yeah, it's... I'll give him credit for some of the designs, but... That's about as far as I'm going to go with that. My number 5 would be Ring Man. There's definite energy in it. The repetition of the tune could kind of indicate maybe a roundness of the ring. Like it just keeps coming back around and back around and back around. It's not bad, but it's just not one of my top tunes because even though I get what they're doing... It's not a good way of, well, it's a great way of doing it, but you don't have a good tune for me to keep just going like, yeah, I'm all in. It's just like, okay, I got what you did there, and I'm over it real quick.
I see. Actually, that was my number 2.
Okay.
Because I definitely got like the romp through a bright sunny day vibe. That was what we, you know, also like he's the cool guy in the middle part where it kind of breaks it down in the song there. I guess they call that the hook. So it was a little funky. Had a little funkiness to it. So when I looked at the picture, I think he's in space.
Sure.
So not what I was expecting, honestly. So it was a darker look than what I was feeling when I heard the song. But still, the cool guy vibes worked. I just didn't know if the two fit together, but this one I broke it just because I kind of just dug the tune itself, because this one was harder for me to find a favorite out of.
Okay.
Like, of my top couple. So he landed in 2. This little bug has to die.
I know, I saw him fly by.
He keeps going right for, like, my nose and landing on the microphone. I'm scared I'm going to inhale him. Not that I would die from it, I just don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, who would?
You know, I've probably eaten several bugs, but I don't know about it, so it's fine.
My number 4 is Skull Man.
Okay.
It feels as though it should be catchier than it is.
Right?
Like, it has some interesting bars and a very particular energy and flavor, but it also feels amiss. Like, there's just something off about it, and I don't know what it is. But there's something, it's almost like if they'd have just spent a little bit more time working on it, they could have tweaked it and found the right connection to everything, but it just, there's something good there, just not, it just didn't land completely.
I could agree.
Broke its legs on the way down.
I threw it in number 3.
Okay.
Because, like, the song itself was fine, you know? Honestly, like, the first few bars actually started to remind me of an NES Olympics-style game. Like, we're running or vaulting or montage-y. Yeah. Or, like, when you were You know, the cutscene, and well, it's not really a cutscene, where you would get the code in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Max running, and, you know, your coach is bicycling. I got that kind of feel from it, like, this is where this would be. So it seemed happier than what I would think from someone named Skullman. But looking at the graphic, I mean, I guess it fit. It was bright colors, a little colder of a feel than I would have expected, again, from someone called Skullman, like with the bright purples and the blues, and maybe it was an ice mountain in the background, so sure, you know.
Sure.
So the song itself was fine. It was nice. It was bright. It was happy. Maybe it's just because it made me feel a little bit more nostalgic to other games that I have played in the past, so I ranked it a little higher than the rest, but, you know, not great.
Yeah.
I don't know where Skull fits in.
It just, he's a skull man. That's about
That's
it.
been my favorite about, like, meeting all the characters this way. Just where it starts to feel like they're grasping at straws to name a new hero that I don't know what your special power is even supposed to be.
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen anything yet.
Oh, great.
Just wait till we get to 6. You'll be going, what is that?
What is going on?
Just
oh,
wait.
Great.
So, yeah. All right, so we're getting into our top 3. I don't... You've essentially given 2 out of your top 3, which is interesting because I'm hoping our number 1 is the same.
I do too.
Because I feel like it can be. I feel like it can
hold
be.
on to hope.
Yeah. And I don't know, the way your brain works sometimes, I feel like I think I might know what your number 1 is. But I don't know that for sure.
Right. I could throw you for a loop this time.
So we're going to find out here. My number 3 is Toad Man.
Okay.
I give credit to the tune for mimicking a toad at the very beginning and then again throughout. There was definitely some forethought in this tune. Definitely one of the better fitting tunes to the overall level, the character, everything. It really does fit. But compared to my other 2, I didn't feel like it was necessarily mind-blowing, but I give it a lot of credit for thinking ahead and not just throwing some generic tune out there. They were just like, we could do something interesting here. And we did. It's just, overall, to me, the tune was not just like, oh my God, yes, I must listen to this tune. But I love what they did with it.
Well, to be fair, there's none of these where I was like, oh my God, I must listen to this tune. So we'll put that out there now.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, this sucks. Toad Man was my 1.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Because it just seemed to fit the aesthetic and everything the best out of all of them that I listened to. Kind of gave me Hidden Level vibes. It definitely had a formula to it where you could get the sense of hopping or something to that effect. Very upbeaty vibes. But the little section in the center is where I really felt like this could have been opening game sequence. I don't know. Like it would be the first one that you would play when you first popped in the cartridge, or I don't know what genre we're even working at. We're still cartridges.
Yeah, this is NES.
And I think when I looked at the graphic that was rain in the background, so I could hear how they were trying to implement that in there as well. And I unfortunately was a little biased because the little pudgy toad body was pretty cute too. So with those 2 together and the emulating of the hopping and the music and everything, I felt like it was the more perfect fit out of all of them that I listened to after looking at the graphic.
Fair enough. That's why I prefaced this before I got there, because I was like, I guarantee you this is going to be her number 1.
See,
because you're looking at it differently than I am. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm always feeling like I'm going to have a bias in some way, shape, or form. And I'll listen to these tunes several times just to be like, what am I getting? What am I feeling? Because, you know, and these last 2, I don't know. So they're in the middle for you.
Yeah.
Pharaoh Man was my number 2. It has some energy, a bit of a hook. I felt like it was one of the catchier tunes, but it didn't quite give me a sense of the world or the Robot Master, but it did feel like it does work overall for me. My opinion.
Right.
What about you?
5. Landed at my number 5, like dead in the middle. I mean, the holy galloping feel, like what the, I imagined it was supposed to be like a chase scene. I know I've said this before, but maybe like a flight scroller level where more dodging and stuff like that would happen more than fighting. But looking at the pick, I don't know how I felt about it fitting the feeling I got before it. I don't know. Is he supposed to be like Ramses too? Like, what this Pharaoh Man would even do? So when I heard the galloping, I was thinking maybe he's one of those like chariot things or whatever. What do they call them when they're
Yeah.
Whatever with the horses
that thing
being pulled in the carriage thing when they're fighting and junk. But yeah, like it was just like I liked the song enough. It didn't seem to fit, so it just kind of landed in the middle for me.
Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. This one was a hard one anyway, because I was just like, which one, this one, that one. Yeah. Here we are. Which leaves number 1, Dive Man, which is your number 6.
It is, yeah.
So here was my thought process when I got to Dive Man. Okay, and you'll understand why it's number 1 for me. It might not fit the overall aesthetic of what it's trying to be, but it has the right energy, the right hook, the right flavor to be everything that a proper Mega Man tune should be. Everything, for me, feels like it's absolutely what it needs to be within the game, unlike the other tunes in the game. Like, this one feels like it should be within the pantheon of other Mega Man tunes, because it fits.
Okay.
It's not an outlier like the others that just don't seem to fit within the game. Yeah. That's why it became my number 1.
This is a good reason. I mean, I got the feeling that definitely like it could have been a water level. Something about the music sounded like it could have been emulating splashing. Just a little whimsical, even, So I was happy to see that it was, in fact, a water level, or at least that's what it appeared to look like. So sometimes these names tend to be a little misleading on what I'm thinking I should be seeing, but it could have been a dive bomber or something. So I was trying to keep that in my head. Like, Dive Man could not necessarily mean water, but with a little spyglass on his head and had the colors around, I feel like it hit pretty good with the aesthetic and everything. I didn't care about the song as much, although it did fit.
Yeah.
Like that could have easily gone up higher.
That's fine.
Then it just kind of got to the point in the middle. I just had to go with what songs I thought I caught myself shimmying to more, and then because they were all kind of like meh, except for my first couple.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, again, I've stated numerous times, I feel like a lot of these just feel out of place. I will give you a little hope. 5 does kind of go back a little bit and bring it back a little closer to what we were used to. Because I even did this just preemptively, because I was like, am I just crazy, or am I just... Is it just this? Is it this, or am I just imagining it? And then I go to 5 and just start listening for a moment, and I was like, nope, it's just this game. There's something. The composer was not well equipped, I guess. Not to crap on her work, but I just mean that she might have been on a crunch and just said, you know what, they need tunes. Here's some stuff I've been working on. Just run with it. Maybe only worked on a handful.
Right.
I don't know, but when you get to 5, we kind of step back up a little bit and going, okay, this is more what I remember. This is better.
Okay.
And it feels more like a Mega Man.
It went in my coffee.
Aww.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm totally going to fish him out and drink it anyway, but the little jerk.
They do that all the time. I have to, like, if I see one buzzing around with my beer in hand, I keep my hand over it because I know what they're up to.
I mean, cheers.
There's nothing.
I'll live. I'm drinking my coffee. Sorry.
No.
But 5.
Yeah, 5
was good.
just expect that you'll probably find at least a few better tunes in 5 that you'll be like, oh, okay, this is more what I was used to. I'm not going to say it's going to be mind-blowing, but you'll feel more at ease going, okay, this is pretty good.
Like Mega Man.
This is pretty good too, So we'll see. Hell, it might be your favorite soundtrack. Who knows?
I mean, 2 has been pretty tough to beat so far, so...
As is the case. I mean, I knew it was I told you ahead of time. It was going to be...
Yeah. It really was a good soundtrack. It really was.
But there you have it, people. Another game rated, ranked, whatever, just the soundtrack. You know what I mean. But we got through it. This one was tough, but we got through it. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll give these a listen and maybe tell us what you think, too. You can hit us up on social medias. You can hit us up on emails and all that stuff. And how do you do that? Well, hit us up on Twitter at Super Mega Crash.
Ooh.
Emails.
Super Mega Crash.
supermegacrash@gmail.com. You can find our weekly Instagram art that I've been kind of trying to be pretty clever with, because using some Mega Man art, but want to tweak it a little
heart
bit.
That is that what you call it on the Instas?
You just heart it. They've changed something on one of my accounts. They move stuff. I don't like when they move stuff, and because I'm looking for this and it's like, nope, it's up here now. I don't like that. But yet the other account is still okay. I don't understand that. It's weird.
I think it's strange when I've had more than one account on the same platform where one would update and I could never get the other one to update to do the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand things. But yeah, there's all that stuff. You can support the show, liking, leaving reviews. All you got to do is just hit the 5-star thing. You don't even have to do that. But we would appreciate it. It helps us. Though, yeah. It helps us grow. If you just like.
And it really helps our ego.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which
is important.
And I'll even say this as far as reviews go, because like hitting 5 stars on anything is easy, but then they normally say leave a review, and I know that's where people usually lose their marbles, and they're just like, I don't want to write anything.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
I'm the same way.
I tell you what,
just let me hit the stars and move on with my life.
I tell you what, here's something you can do if you want. That way, it's something simple, easy. And you don't have to write anything. Just type in Super Mega Crash. And leave it at that. Unless I can come up with something better, 5 stars, Super Mega Crash. And just leave it at that. And then we'll know that you listened to us and you heard what we said and you just gave us 5 stars and you just wrote Super Mega Crash.
Or you could just put yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Nice and simple. And since we've already had this conversation, we'll know that means, hey, love it.
Yeah, you are listening. You heard what we said.
Yeah.
Write the number 42.
Ooh, codes now.
Yeah. And people will be like, what does that mean?
We'll know.
We'll know.
We'll know.
We'll know. But we've told you. You can do that on your preferred platform. You can even do that on Pod Chaser, which is we've already gotten 4 reviews on there, but not full reviews, but the starred reviews. We're 5 stars on Podchaser. It's on our site. Go take a look.
That's a good.
People
good
are
run
ready.
of luck.
Yeah,
right.
We're doing all right. Go to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions if you want to chuck in a buck and get all the contents like Super Mega Crash Adventures, which I am still trying to work on. Please forgive me if you pay me, and I'll get it done sooner.
5 stars, give me money. You know,
all those things.
I'll do it all.
No, you don't have to give us money. I just want to know that you're here listening. Tell your friends to search Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and even YouTube.com/Pencil Paper Productions. Thank you so much for listening. I am Stephen White.
And I'm Lacia Finley.
Join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then, game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.